Good day, London. You're welcome to Let's Get It Real with Oba Live on Fancy Radio. Today we have a very important guest in our midst. Just speaking to him right now, and I said it's like he breathes Nigeria. The air he breathes is Nigeria. So I want to thank you, sir, for what you do. We're extremely grateful. Today we're going to be discussing not just about Nigeria but Africa as a whole,
Okay.
and see how we can, as members of the diaspora community, ensure that every diaspora, every member of the African community prosper and also contribute a quota to the growth of the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's win-win for all. It's a win for the United Kingdom, win for the African continent. So we're going to be seeing how we exploit opportunities and learn from you. You've got the credentials, you've got the education, the exposure, and the experience to get this happen. So you're the right person for this discussion. I want to thank you for coming. And so I want to welcome everyone to this important discussion this afternoon. We're going to be looking at navigating the complexities within the diaspora community to become more productive in the United Kingdom and also in Africa back home. I want to thank everyone. If you're feeling cold, just get a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, because we are in for something extremely important. And so I want to begin by highlighting our guest in the studio to introduce himself. He's someone that you'll be glad you tune in today to listen to. So, sir, please, can you introduce yourself to our listeners out there?
My name is Prince Bimbo Folayan. Some people call me Otumba, some call me Chief, but my family members say that because I'm a prince, all those chieftaincy titles are secondary. So I'm Bimbo Folayan.
I love that. Hey, when you are the prince, you are the prince, not all those other ones that you because that's the highest. Next to the king, the prince and the king, we are one and the same. That is the beauty of the African culture.
Yes.
That is the beauty of the African culture. So thank you for that. So we're going to see. I want to talk to you about. You've just introduced yourself. There's something about you've established several organizations here in the United Kingdom.
Yes.
Let's start with this. What inspired you to establish the Nigeria Diaspora Direct Investment Summit? That is a very strong organization.
Yes.
And the African Diaspora Direct Investment, and how have you, this investment impacted people back home?
Okay.
Can you talk to us about that?
So I set up the Nigerian Diaspora Direct Investment Summit 13 years ago.
Wow.
When I was chairman of the Central Association of Nigerians in the UK. I discovered at that time that a lot of people I met always express the desire to go back to Nigeria after certain years. The only people who don't talk about going to Nigeria are people who are still fresh in the country. Maybe they've just spent about 5-10 years, they're still on their career ladder. But most of the people I met who have spent 20, 30, or even 40, 50 years always said to me, we want to set up a business. But when I sent money back home, my relative did not use it, this created some problem in the family. So we then decided, we said, okay, why don't we bring out a platform that helps people to connect with government and then the private sector in Nigeria, and then create business that benefits themselves, benefits the government, benefits Nigerians at the same time. So it was just like you used the term win-win. It was a win-win for everybody.
Wow.
We will help you to connect with the right people. You can set up your business, create jobs back home. Because when you get to a particular age, you can't be carrying CV again in Nigeria, because Nigeria has so many young people.
Yeah, that's true.
So by the time you are over 30, you find that people start to see you as old.
That's
And meanwhile, you are 40, 50 or 60s in the UK or the US, and you want to go back home and settle down. You're not going to be looking for work. You should actually create something that people can benefit from using your wealth of experience. So that's what we started doing 13 years ago.
And how's the experience been so far?
It's been wonderful, been fantastic. Just a few years after we started, I made a few trips to, I think, Bayelsa. And then there was a time I made a trip to Lagos, and I met, strangers on the street who came to me and said, "Oh, do you know that it was during your summit that I connected with this person, and I've been back to Nigeria since that time." I was in Abuja with one of our colleagues, David Smith, some years back, and I was in the minister's reception, sitting down, and a lady came out. She was covering her head in the Muslim.
Okay.
And I couldn't recognize her, and she said, "Oh, Chief Folayan, I'm now working with the minister, but it was during your summit in so year I connected with you, and I met with the governor for your state, and through that I've been in Nigeria, and I've set up this business, and now I'm working with government."
This is awesome.
Beautiful stories.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But I'd like you to say something, because I know there's so many people listening to you right now.
Yeah.
I would like to, because they want to, okay, fine, this summit is out there, direct investment summit. I got some money, I think I can put it into some investment. Or can you talk to us about the operational modalities and the area of investment interest this covers, or is it just open-ended?
Okay, so this is what we do. First of all, we have a pipeline of projects.
Okay.
We always have different types of businesses that people could set up. So we put that on one side, and on the other side, we go to Nigeria. We invite maybe state governments or governors or ministers or commissioners or go to the private sector. We invite people from different companies, and we bring them to London. We ask them to pitch about their businesses. So when they pitch about their businesses, we invite diasporans and their businesses as well to listen to them and connect. So when they connect, they are able to form some kind of partnership. There was a time that we were doing sector by sector investment summit. So we say, for example, MSME. We're doing one in this coming March,
Okay.
by the way. But there's a time that we did for small, medium enterprises.
Okay.
And we brought in all the organizations that are related to MSMEs. So we brought in SMEDAN, brought in Bank of Industry, brought in some small business from Nigeria.
Okay. You have an organization like the Export Promotion Council.
Export Promotion, yes,
Okay.
we brought them also. That was Sheikh Mahmoud who used
to be the
time.
chairman. Yes.
Yeah, so we brought all of them, and they connected. They were able to talk to say, this is how we can collaborate. Don't forget that people have not been home for a very long time.
Okay.
The people you probably know are just your brothers or your sisters or your parents. They may not necessarily know about business. So business is not sentiment. So we actually bring people that they can talk to. So when they meet with them, they say, this is the business I've been doing in London, or that I intend to bring to Nigeria. How can you support me? And then SMEDA, for example, could say, oh, this is how we support you. Mm-hmm. Bank of Industry could say, this is how we support you. What have you got? Do you want land? Things like that. We stimulate discussions about how to set up.
Okay, that's lovely.
Yeah.
There's something I want to ask here, because I'm just thinking aloud, listening to you, that is what you said is so beautiful. Sometimes, do you have a kind of guarantee process where the government comes into guarantee fund coming in from people? Is that also part of it?
No, unfortunately, we don't have anything that guarantees anything. What we do is to, so we discovered that people are working in silos, right?
Okay.
Everybody has their own ideas, their initiatives, and they're not talking to anybody. Everybody's working separately. So what we try to do is to bring people together to start talking. But then we work with NITCOM, which is the Nigerian in Diaspora Commission. They've been supporting us. We worked with a group called the African Leadership Forum, owned by President Obasanjo. They also supported us in providing information, showing people the way. You see, if you've not been to Nigeria forever, Nigeria is a different kind of country.
Yeah.
If you've left Nigeria for just 5 years and you don't travel to Nigeria, by the time you get to Nigeria, everything is changed. Things are so different. You find that you need information. And the only way you can set up a proper business is to have people that have knowledge. So what we do is to provide that platform where people are able to engage.
Serve as a bridge. Okay.
We're just bridge builders. We just create the link. It's just like you want to eat and you're thinking, I need to make soup and food.
Okay.
Where do you go? You go to the market. So when you get to the market, you find somebody sending all the ingredients, the salt, the sugar, the pepper, the tomato. And that's what we do. We create the market where people can meet those that can make their businesses happen.
Prince, I must say you're doing a good job here,
Thank
and
you.
I thank God for the DDIs, because this is good. I know there's still a lot of room to cover.
Yeah.
And more people need to know about this, and that is one of the reasons we invited you. Because this is something that is laudable. People need to know this. It's for the good of the African continent, with Nigeria taking the driving seat and just getting that done. Yeah. And so I want to thank you for what you've done. That takes me to the second thing, because we can talk about this for 2 hours, just talking about NDDI. There's so much to dissect. Just listening to your ideas just kept coming and like, this is lovely. And so I believe if you're out there, you're a Nigerian, you're part of the diaspora community, you want to get in touch with NDDILs. This is important.
Yes.
It is time we begin to think of investing into the future. The future is now. Mm-hmm. You've got to invest. You've got to diversify your investment and take advantage of the fact that you can put some little amount in Africa and it means a lot. And so thank you for what you're doing. And we hope more people will contact you at the end of this program, and we'll see how we can work with you at Fancy Radio to get this thing done. We look forward to being part of the next project, because this is something that should be done. We should see how we can.
Invited to the next summit between 20 and 21st.
We'll be there. We'll be there. We look forward to it. We'll be there. Because it's something that is awesome. So that takes us to, you have been part of CANOC.
Yes.
Even the two-term chairman, the double chair.
Yes.
The Lord is your strength.
Amen.
So many things. As two-term chairman of CANOC, what were some of the most significant achievements under your leadership? And what challenges did you face?
The challenges were that, we Nigerians, when we travel out of our country, most of us left for one reason or the other, maybe economic, family, political, education, whatever. When we get to this different environment, we start to work in silos. Everybody's just doing their own thing. We're not connected.
That's true.
But luckily for us, we then had a High Commissioner, Dr. Christopher Kolade, and we had the head of Chancellor at the time was Ahmed Opeloyeru. The two of them put together the concept called CANOC. So what they realized when they got to the UK, they found that there were hundreds of organizations. Like we have the Kogi Union, we have the Ekiti Parakwa, we have the Association of IT Practitioners. We have different groups, professional, cultural, social,
centralized platform.
There was no central platform. So they created, they called all of them to the meeting and said, we have to come together. In fact, in those days, those organizations used to fight. They used to fight so much that they went to court. we used to have the Nigerian National Union. They fought, quarreled over who is going to lead and all of that stuff, and they went to court. When Dr. Christopher Kolade came, he said, no, let's create a constitution that looks federal in nature. It looks like an American or Nigerian constitution, where the organizations can exist separately, but they can have a central body where each one of you send your delegates and they represent you. And that was how they had CANOC. That was 2004 or 2005. And then the first chairman was Dr. Makabani. Actually, I was the first person to apply to become chairman, because I contested against Dr. Makabani, but he won the election. And then he became chairman for 4 years. When he left, even before he left, himself and a lot of leaders in the community were already calling me, Bimbo, come back again, come and run. And I ran, and then I won. So the first challenge I met was that people didn't believe in us. They didn't believe in the Nigerian spirit. Everybody just wanted to make it on their own. And that challenge, I decided to confront it. Because people complained that the previous leadership was too focused on just going to the High Commission, going out with the ministers and talking to the High Commissioner. So I said, okay, what do we do? In our own time, we said, let's make it more popular. And then luckily for us, that was the time that social media was just becoming popular.
Because I was almost asking, how did you get it?
People didn't know that we used to have a former chairman before. A lot of people thought I was the first chairman because there was no social media during his time. So there was no way he could have reached out to too many people.
That's true.
But during our time, social media became so popular and we maximized the effect. We went to a lot of events, we strengthened the organizations, invited more organizations on board, and then it was now on social media, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. And that was how Kanook now became, I would say that's the major achievement that we had. The other achievement we had was supporting individuals. Personally, I think one of my major standing points in the community and why people keep coming to me, even though I've left office since 2015, a lot of people still come to me up till yesterday. People come to me when people have immigration issues.
Leadership is beyond position, it's influence.
It's influence, exactly.
Yeah.
And people from other African countries, Ghanaians, Zimbabweans, Kenyans, Uganda, everybody just kept coming to me. And I think the major achievement is that I'm able to support people, support their initiatives. It could be something very simple, like maybe they want to get something out of their high commission, and I write a letter to their high commission on their behalf. Yesterday, somebody needed something from NIDCOM. I wrote an official email to NIDCOM on their behalf, and that person is in the US. Is a diaspora in the US. Wow. I would say that's the major achievement, being seen as somebody who supports initiatives. The Miss Nigeria that we just met now. Incidentally, only last week, the Kenyans were having Miss Kenya, and I was invited also to give a keynote speech there and support them. Lovely. So this sort of things, I would say, is a major achievement, supporting people, supporting their initiatives, and helping them to fly.
So how do you think Kanook can become more relevant and effective?
I think my personal, what I think can move it forward and make it more effective, make it more felt by community, is by getting our children involved. That is one area that during my time we were unable to achieve. And I think all the I'll say about 3 other regimes after my term, they've also not been able to achieve that. When we are able to get our own children to get into Kanook, that is the children that we have in this country, they're in their 20s and even 30s now. When we are able to get them into Kanook and start to reach out more to their own generation, I think that would have become a major achievement for us.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking about, there's so many Nigerians here that are doing, like you said, silos, just doing your own thing. And I also think about the programs, the initiative Kanook needs to develop that makes it more attractive to people to come in.
Yeah.
And also need to be more out there, more visible, talking about it. You've done a great job. Yeah. But I think your successors should take it to a whole new height.
Yeah.
Kanook needs to rebrand itself.
So since Abani left, I took over. I moved it forward a bit. Tunde Loye came, did his own thing, moved it in his own way. For instance, I have to tell you the truth now. During our time, we were not even looking at people with disabilities. It was Tunde Loye that created an opportunity for disability. Brought them in. The other chairman, Dr. Goma Douglas, came in, moved the community to another level, and is connected with more organizations. Since then, we've had, now we have Ayo Akinfe. Ayo Akinfe also doing his own thing, creating, reaching out to more organizations. So everybody is actually doing their own little bit.
Okay. So I want to find out here. So you say collaboration between Kanook and NDDIS.
Kanook is a community organization.
Yeah, I know.
NDDIS is a private initiative. Yeah. So we connect with Kanook, we connect with NIDO, we connect with almost every diaspora organization.
I'm trying to look at the operations of NDDIS, and I'm seeing what can come out of it if there's an effective collaboration taking place, and so that it's like you have the ocean and you have a channel that takes this thing back to Africa, Nigeria precisely, and things get done. I think I hope the leadership or the present leadership of Canopy they are listening to us right now, and should reach out to strategic private organizations like the NDDIS to get this thing done. And because it's one thing, a community must have a product, because when we talk about growth in the 21st century, you talk about community and then you talk about collaboration.
Yes.
Because if you don't have the 60, community and collaboration, you create a community, but you've got to collaborate effectively to be able to maximize the potential within the community.
That's true.
And I think, and with just listening to you, I'm already enjoying this discussion because I'm a management consultant. So when I see things like this, I'm very excited. I believe this is the hope for Nigerians in the diaspora and also back home. So I can't thank you enough for all this. That is why I want to take you to the diaspora contributions.
Okay.
How do you see the role of Nigerians and Africa in the diaspora evolving?
Diasporans are doing massive work for Nigeria.
Okay.
If you look at the amount of remittances that we take to Nigeria, it's so huge.
Yeah.
And when I put that side by side, foreign direct investment, it's not even half. It's just like a quarter. So you have people coming in to invest about $8 billion in the system, whereas Nigerians in diaspora have pumped in about 21 billion. That is huge.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, these 21 billion that we're talking about, this is just the official figure.
That's true.
You know, like when I go to Nigeria, when you go to Nigeria, you put 5,000 pounds. That's not part of it.
That is not part of it.
It's not part of it.
So it's far more than that.
Yeah, quite a lot. Yeah, it's almost double.
Yeah.
So we create jobs. We have in my portfolio, I have no less than minimum 20 organizations that wanted to go to Nigeria in December. I'm telling you, that wanted to go and provide food. Some of them will say to me, Bimbo, I want to just come to Nigeria and give food to people free of charge. Just cook food. Some will say, I've got some things I want to take to Nigeria and give disabled people. And I have people coming to me that way, which shows that Nigerians in diaspora, they are very wonderful people.
Yeah.
They are people who never forget where they came from. And that's something I've noticed since I became a leader in the community. Now, how does it evolve? I think this is where NIDCOM comes in. So what NIDCOM is trying to do now is to harmonize all of these organizations. And I think going forward, one of the things I plan to do this year is to create more linkages with NIDCOM. And then I'll be having a talk with Mrs. Dabiri to perhaps create a department within NIDCOM that actually focuses on initiatives that are coming from diaspora. Even though now they do it, most of the trade missions, most of the medical doctors, a lot of people go to Nigeria. They say, we want to go and provide free surgery. They go through NIDCOM. They're already doing it. But what we probably need to do is to find a way to connect with them more so that they're reaching out directly to NIDCOM, and NIDCOM is able to create an office specially for initiatives that are coming from the diaspora. I think that's the only way it can evolve.
Because you see, this thing you're saying is so important, and I believe the present government is looking into this, and you have a lot to do with them. I hope they are listening, and we hope, I pray the High Commission listen and try to reach out to Prince Bimbo of the NDDIS, because it's important. We see what is going on globally. We look at India, for instance. The connection between India and the United Kingdom because of an organized system. You have systems and structure. You have a united platform. And I pray God will continue to give you the grace to do this. And we are willing to work with you at Fancy Radio and Television. I'm already excited. I didn't know you've done this, you've gone this far. So, and I must say you're extremely intelligent.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
So we need to now look at you, for God's sake, you are just blessed. The father of the African community in the diaspora. So we can say Kabiosi. And it's a remarkable achievement. Can you talk to us about the title and what is it all about?
Okay, it's about So at some stage, a lot of the other countries, organizations started reaching out to us, asking me to support them on one initiative or the other. And I was always there supporting them, always attending their events. I spoke about Miss Kenya just last week.
Yeah.
I was in Oxford, so I drove all the way from London to support them. And I just got back from Nigeria.
That's a lot of commitment.
I'm telling you. So once you are there, you are there. People come to you with ideas and all of that stuff. And I've been supporting them. So they came together sometimes 2 years ago, and they decided to give me that honor. And they started calling me father. They gave me an award actually to say I'm father of Africa. Since then, 2 other organizations have given me the same title, repeating the same titles.
You won't blame them. Is it by the fruit you shall know them? You are acting as a father. And so you can't deny that, and that is who you are. We can't thank you enough, and that takes us to the business venture. You look into your work. Your work span from ICT consultancy, investment advisory roles, and non-executive directorship in several organizations. Come on, Prince.
Yes.
Omozuapo, how do you cope with all this?
It's hectic. I have to wake up early, go to bed late. And when people say to me that, and I'm also the first person to respond to everybody's, people send me messages, I respond. I was wondering, some people will say to you, oh, I've not responded because I've been so busy. Even if I cannot answer you, I'll just say I will respond to you.
Are you in your early 30s?
I'm in my 60s now.
So where are they coming from?
So it's a lot of work. But because I'm challenged, because a lot of people look up to me. And if you look at our community, just look at it. Look at the African community. People of my generation, a lot of them are not in community. They are very, very successful. They are rich.
Yeah,
they actually have personal money. I know lots of people who are, we joined IT almost 20-something years ago. In the days when there was a boom, and a lot of people made so much money. But everybody was just building their own. They're building their own life.
Yeah.
So, when you come to our community, you find that people of our generation are not many. You hardly find people in their 60s or 50s out there supporting people. Now, some people have to do it, otherwise we don't want. So it's not just me though. I have so many other people. I can start to mention names here now. Lots of people also like myself who are everywhere supporting people.
And on behalf of the Nigerian youth, they want to say thank you to you and to as many of your group that choose to sacrifice themselves, because I envy the India community. Their communities I see that they don't have as much talented people as Nigerians, and they're excelling.
Let me even give you an example. So I've been in IT since 1996. And I've worked as an independent consultant, which means that I've worked with so many companies, name it, in the finance sector. Most of the bank merger projects in the UK, I've been part of it. NatWest with Bank of Scotland, Halifax Bank, most of these, even telecoms merger projects, I've been part of it. And I've always worked with Indians. Because in ICT, when it comes to ICT, you find that the Indians are always there.
Yeah.
So most of those projects where I've worked with Indians, I've interacted with them, and I can see the mindset of these guys. What they do as a diaspora is that they always come together and they build. They've created academies in India such that now it's being predicted that India will become the 3rd biggest economy by 2030. That's just 6 years' time. A country that's supposed to be one of the middle-level income countries is going to become one of the richest in about 6 years' time. And then when you now look at the predictions up to 2050, India is just, going, just going to be so big. So we, as diasporans, our problem is that we don't work together. We're talented. Individually, we are blessed. But we're not willing to pull together the little that we have. So if you have 20,000, this guy has 10,000, this one has 5,000, but this one hasn't got a penny, but he's got some idea or brain or something to put on the table. Why can't we come together
Yeah.
and make things bigger, right? And which is what the Indians have been doing. That's the reason I have learned from them. But not just the Indian, we have the Sri Lankan community.
Doing that,
We have the Pakistani. We
doing
have
the
so many
same.
communities.
Doing the
Yeah.
same. It's a prototype you need to adopt.
Yep.
And I see that. I hope we get it right. I just pray we get it. Because we're talking about the world today. The Indians and Nigerians. These are the two major economy that, if well managed, will become the future of the world.
Yep.
As everybody said, you don't joke with that. They're basically three for me. You talk about China, India, and Nigeria. Or we say China, India, and the African continent.
Yep.
With Nigeria as a driving force. These are the emerging world power. But without unity from the African community, is there going to be an issue? And that is what the role you're playing. And I think you're born for this.
Thank you.
And I believe this is your destiny, because
I think
you could have probably have gotten involved with your own personal thing, but this is a call upon your life of God, I believe so. So let's think about your Diaspora Investment Trust Fund.
Yeah.
You are on the advisory panel of establishing the Nigerian Diaspora Investment Trust Fund. That is very interesting. Managing trust fund, I've been there doing that as I thought I will tell you. I provide advisory services to companies. So when I saw this, I'm like, God, this man is doing a lot.
Yep.
Can you share insight into the fund's objectives and its significance?
Okay, so the story started for me. The story started almost 10 years ago when Dr. Segun Aganga used to be the Minister for Finance, and he came to NDDIS in London at our summit. And then we discussed, during the summit, we talked about why can't we pull the resources of the diaspora together and actually use it as a targeted fund to develop maybe infrastructure in Nigeria. Why should we be complaining that NEPA is not functional when the diaspora pumps in about 21 billion every year, for example? If we have this kind of money, why can't we target it in a way that you put £100 of your own, but you're sure you're getting 120, right? That should be something to pay you back.
Yeah.
So we started that conversation at the time, and he came back to London and had a meeting with myself and our partner at that time, Dr. David Smith. So we started working on a Nigerian Diaspora Fund project, which was to mobilize the entire diaspora to start pulling resources together and then use these resources to solve problem in Nigeria in a commercial way, though. It's not charity.
Yeah.
When we take the money, we take it, invest it into some public.
That's the best way to go.
The best way to go about it. So we were to launch it about just before COVID. Unfortunately, COVID came, and then Midcom took the project on their own. They decided that they wanted to do it from the government side. You know, remember the one we wanted to do was to actually start from the diaspora to connect with government, but the government now took it up to say, we will do it, but connect with diaspora. They did it the other way around. So, and I was one of the 14 members. I was privileged to be one of 14 people, 14 Nigerians across the world who were brought together. Some of them, two of them, managing directors of those kind of first tier banks in America and all that. Yeah, very, very senior people, and we had the privilege of putting a document together.
Framework, okay.
Sorry?
You guys were able to put framework for
this?
this?
We put the framework together. It was signed into law by President Buhari. It was launched. The implementation is the full implementation we're still waiting for right now. But you know, when it comes to government, things are a bit slow. Which is why sometimes things that are driven from the private sector, they move faster.
Yeah.
They move faster. But I'm sure that this government will implement it.
Please, I'm speaking to the government. Please, I hope the Nigeria High Commission is listening to this conversation. We're going to promote this video, ensure that everyone that needs to listen. This is part of the future framework for Nigeria.
Yes.
So we need to take this serious. Learning how to maximize the potential of the fund in the diaspora community is something we need to do as a nation.
Yeah.
So this is I have not seen the framework, but I know it must be awesome.
Yes.
Because even the idea itself is is lovely.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So well, thank you for that. We're going to be looking at something. We can spend the next 20 hours just talking to you, because I love to pick the brains of very intelligent people. You've got a lot to offer the Nigerian government and the African continent. But because of time, and I heard you're a very busy person, you will soon be going. So please bear with us. I'm just enjoying listening to you.
Thank you.
And I believe there's so many people out there enjoying this conversation,
Yes.
because it is for the good of motherland.
Yes.
So let's talk about your cultural leadership as a prince. As a prince from Ijeru Ekiti.
Yes.
Okay. So you eat pounded yam a lot. You don't joke with your
I
pounded yam.
love pounded yam. Beautiful.
Because I know.
I ate pounded yam on Christmas Day in London. You won't believe it. Real pounded yam.
Where did you get it
Not
from?
the one. You know what? I'll show you the trick. We bought a machine.
Okay.
And then we bought yam and we put it in the machine was able to actually make it look like
Like the real
I'm
pounded
telling
yam.
you, yes.
Because I remember there was a time I visited Ekiti, and it was the pounded yam in Ekiti is lovely. It draws and
it draws.
And this is lovely. So I will never forget that pounded yam. So as a prince, you talk about it. You have 3 chieftaincy titles and several others.
Yes.
How do you integrate your traditional roles and your professional and then community leadership, both in Nigeria and here in the UK? How do you do all this?
So I'm a prince from Ijeru Ekiti, but I was also given chieftaincy titles by the emirs of Kagara in Niger State and Kotagora also in Niger State. So Serikin Yaki of Kagara and that's King of War. Garikin Kowa Pada of Kotagora. That's a member of the emirs in Akoko.
You actually deserve to be called the King of War. What you do here in the UK is you are a warrior. They got it
and
right.
then in the Ilodo Kingdom, Ijebu-Moshi, I also got Otumba Babal Lodja.
Okay, that is the right and
Man of in charge of commerce. In charge of commerce.
That's good.
I know I have another one which I've not really finalized anyway, but yeah, so they are honorary.
Okay.
I'm not supposed to be sitting down with them or anything. It's just they just invite me from time to time to meetings. So, but they are honorary positions. Even the role I play in the diaspora, I left Kanuk since 2015. So we've had other chairmen who are doing it. They did their own beats, and there's somebody there doing his own beat as well. So every one of them, they are leaders in the community also. We also share, in spite of the fact that I've left, people are still coming to me, not just me, even my predecessors. People go to them all the time, asking them for advice and support. NDDIS, I use that to bring Nigerians together to talk about business. Let's just talk about business. And I'll be talking to you, Fancy Radio, I'll be talking to you also about how we do business together.
We would love to partner with you. We're actually putting up a program for business alone.
Okay.
And we call it Smart Biz.
Okay.
Where we are working on that, where we just get businessmen like you talk about business opportunities.
Okay.
What they are doing in Europe, UK, and Africa.
Wonderful.
So that would be a good opportunity to partner with NDDIS and see also about the Smart Biz with Fancy Radio.
And
so
with our next summit, we're bringing in 1 or 2 ministers. The president's special advisor on job creation and promotion of MSME. I will make sure that you're part of that as well, so that you can talk to them and see how we mobilize the African diaspora.
We should. You're doing a lot. We should. We need to create that united platform. We need to create that. Let's talk about your eyes, because you're too loaded. There's so many things to say. Let's talk about the IT consultancy achievement. You have participated in major projects across the UK. You said something. And what key lessons have you learned from working with global brands?
Yeah.
Like IBM, NetWest, and Virgin Media. These are
one of the things I've learned, which I'm taking forward, is that they spend a lot of time planning, which was a little bit different from the experience I had when I came. We come up with an idea, we just want to jump into it. I found that they've spent a lot of time planning, and during the planning before they go into execution. During the execution during the planning they discover a lot of errors, which they quickly tackle before they go into execution. But if you look at projects in Nigeria, when I was growing up in Nigeria, you find that a project has failed, not because it was to fail, but because they never spent enough time to really plan, look at the risks and all the issues. So most projects I've been on in the UK and across Europe, we always have, on every project we have our issues register, we have our risks register, and we're on every single morning we're looking at it. This risk is coming. Before it arrives, we've already dealt with it, or we've provided how to deal with it.
Scenarios.
But when it comes to execution, then they execute flawlessly. So that's something I've found, and I also found that one of the things I've also learned is that big problems are broken down into chunks. Oh, I love that. So something will look like something really, really massive and big. Guess what they do? They just break it into different chunks. They give it to different people to resolve. And easily.
Specialization.
Exactly, specialization. And people bring in their different levels of expertise, and before you know it, that thing becomes whole and becomes big. Also, another thing I've learned is that a Yoruba say, where you have somebody that knows it all, has it all, things will fail.
That is it.
Yeah. You see, they recognize everybody. If you set up a business, one of the things I've learned, most projects I've worked on, so I will have a team. Some of my team members will be offshore, maybe in India, somewhere in Bangalore. And I have to have meetings with them every 9 a.m. every morning, like most of my teams. Sometimes my team lead, the guy who reports to me, also has his own people that work for him, right? I have meeting with my team lead. He passes my message. Guess one thing I do that has never failed? I trust them, empower them, and I allow them to use their knowledge, expertise, and they make me look so big.
Wow, that's good.
That's something we need to learn.
Yeah.
We need to learn that if we train people, now give them a free hand. Don't micromanage people.
That is it.
It is very disrespectful to be micromanaging people. Allow them, even when they make mistakes, you can call them and correct them and say, I trust you, you go and deliver. You'll be surprised how they'll be delivering.
Awesome.
So I used to work on a project with Nationwide Bank, Swindon. I was there for about 12 months. And my team was in London. I was in Swindon. I had a team in Northampton. Then I had a team in Bangalore. But I have team leads for each one of those areas. Guess what? So the guy I report to, who is my line manager, expects me to send some reports to him, well designed, using, at that time we didn't have AI, and you had to use all of the tools to make it show all the graphs. And I'll be thinking, this guy will say to me, I need it tomorrow. And I'll be thinking, how will I design this? Guess what? I'll go to my team members, I'll say, please, you look at this, you look at that, you look at that. And guess what? They pull everything together, send it to me, I'll look so big. So that's something I've learned.
Effective leadership and learning to and recognize the people's skills, and then ability to manage. Yep. That's lovely, and thank you for that. I believe our leaders are listening to you, and so when we talking, because of time, want to know about your future goal, and then talk to us about your personal reflection in life. Yeah. What are your future goals? What do we hope to see with AIM? You're talking about the program coming up in March. Yep. And so what are the future goals, and what are your personal reflection in life as a person?
Presently, I'm working with a couple of people. We're working on a massive project for diaspora, which I'm not allowed to say now, but it's something that we should watch out for. It's going to be a game changer to help the diaspora in a massive way. But then it's going to help the Nigerian diaspora. I'm also working with one or two organizations now who they're looking at Africa. So, by the way, in November, I managed to get them to go to Nigeria So they had their sixth convention. This organization it's called IDO. IDO has been there, trying to harmonize, bring Africans together, culturally, business-wise, and so they invited me in as an advice on their advisory board.
Okay.
They also appointed me as their head of business and investment. So we had the sixth convention in Nigeria, where we had over 40 people from different parts of the world, particularly people coming from the CARICOM countries, the Caribbeans. It was so lovely to see people from Guyana, from, all of these
How did they
countries.
get to know about this? Your promotion was, I mean, top-notch.
It was massive.
Top-notch, yeah.
It was massive. But we're going back to Nigeria in July.
Yeah.
June, July. I think June, July. We're taking them back to Nigeria. Guess what we did? We were giving them Nigerian names. We were giving them Nigerian names. We got some traditional rulers to sit down and give each one of them. Many of them were emotional. Some of them shed tears of joy, just to reconnect back. We took them to Badagry just to show them how people were transported as slaves in those days. And we had a lot of programs for them. So in the future, we're working on things that will bring Africans together generally, and then bring Nigerians together in particular. Because Nigeria has over 200 million population. So what we do in Nigeria actually affects Africa.
That's true.
And that's why you and I have a responsibility to make sure that we first of all bring ourselves together, and then we start talking to our brothers and sisters across the other countries. So, and I promise you'll be the first to hear once all the plans are ready.
We really look forward to working with you. This is because it's been our concern, and we when I talk to Fancy, we discuss this often now. Like we because I speak to my professor doing my doctorate at the moment, and when I talk to my professor who's from India, we talk about people are concerned about Nigeria. You meet Nigerians that are extremely intelligent, smart set of people, and at the end of the day, people cannot understand. We have individual success, but not communal success, and we need to change this narrative. We need to make things work. And I want to thank you really from the depth of my heart, to be sincere. And you just lighting up. That's what I'll say. You've just given and make some of us believe that this is doable.
It is.
So we're glad to have you on board.
Thank
and
you.
I believe so many people listening to you today will be encouraged, especially those in the diaspora community. And I pray we see how we can partner to get this thing done. We're already doing a great job. We're going to see how we can contribute our own bottom and get this thing out there. Before we go, Prince, you want to give your real blessing.
Yes.
And you want to say something to the Nigerians. You are the father of the Nigerian community here.
Yes.
Can you speak to your sons and daughters out there, to your brothers and sisters, to the daddies? Talk to Nigerians. I
just want to, first of all, appreciate every one of you for all you're doing, because you are wonderful people. You're already doing it. There's nothing I want to say that will be new, except to say that, please, let's work together more. Let us support Fancy Radio in anything that we're doing. Let us collaborate. For example, I have my own skill set, but Fancy Radio, you have your own skill set. If you put me on that seat, I won't be able to, question your guests the same way you're doing it. So if we all come together, work together more, we will become bigger.
That's true.
We're already big in the UK, because I remember when I came about over 30 years ago, I came to the UK. We used to go to Nigerian restaurants. We would sit underground just to drink. It was such a rough environment in those days. We hid just to drink in a shop because they didn't have license to enable people to buy drinks. But today, we have the best restaurants in London. Today, we have the biggest events in 5-star hotels. So we started from somewhere because some people were coming together. And look at Major, for example. Look at his organizing with the wife. They organize award ceremonies. They are bringing people. Do you know what they do? They don't even know what they're doing. They don't know that what they're doing is really impacting society. People like this, we need to collaborate with them. We need to support them, buy their tickets, put money into whatever they're doing, and let's become bigger. Because we can be bigger than we are now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Prince. We are so honored to have you on this platform. And on behalf of every Nigerian African in diaspora, I want to say thank you for what you do. We look forward to more partnership with with you. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want you to go to fancytv.com and subscribe so that you can listen to this video again and again and again. And I want you to do something. Can you just click like and make and comment and then share? We want this to go viral. We want the government of the day to get to watch this. So thank you once again.
Thank you,
Prince, for coming. We look forward to seeing you. You have a great day and our love to the family.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
coming. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.